From Mamamia, welcome to The Spill, your daily pop culture fix. I'm Laura Brodnick.
And I'm Ksenia Lukic.
And coming up on the show today, Sydney Sweeney has a new lover, apparently. I've got a few holes to poke in this story. There's been a lot of internet uproar. Plus, Sabrina Carpenter's controversial new album is finally here, but does it live up to the hype from when she released that photo? We're going to get into that. But first,
the 82nd Venice Film Festival is back. And this film festival is kind of synonymous with ridiculous standing ovations and lots of moments. And it's also like where we kind of see our first bits for Oscars buzz and awards season. So it's still going on, but there's a couple of my favorite moments that I kind of want to chat through today. The first one I want to go into is the new Frankenstein movie by Guillermo del Toro, who is a absolute wizard of filmmaking. So Jacob Elordi is actually playing Frankenstein's monster. Now, people who are Frankenstein fans always get really into this. Like, Frankenstein is not the monster. Frankenstein is the doctor who creates the monster.
yes, the monster doesn't have a name. That's the whole point of his story, is that he's not accepted by anyone.
Yes. So the film itself was received really, really well. It got a 15-minute standing ovation.
Which, I mean, look, anywhere else would be huge. Venice, as you said, is known for its long-standing ovations, although some of them have only been 6 or 8, so 15 is quite long.
So I actually looked it up because I was very curious about what the longest standing ovation was at the Venice Film Festival. So the longest standing ovation was in 2024, which was The Room Next Door. Can you imagine clapping for 18 minutes?
I think it'd be like that horrible feeling you have when you're standing in a room and everyone's singing happy birthday, and it's like really fun for the first minute, but after a while you don't know where to look and what to do with your hands. I feel like it'd be like that.
That's 18 minutes is a really long
I would have left. But it does bode well for the movie, because this is the movie from the festival that I was most excited to hear the responses. I love Guillermo del Toro's films so much, Pan's Labyrinth, Crimson Peak, and I also love that he's taken a really strong stance against CGI and special effects. He's like, practical effects or nothing. And it's like, give this man an Oscar. I don't even have to see the movie.
Well, Jacob Elordi was talking in the press about, having to spend 10 hours in makeup.
So he should.
The fact that he's Frankenstein's monster and still looks that hot is...
Did you see during the ovation that Jacob Elordi was crying?
I know.
He was crying. He was just so overcome, and it really made me love him. I mean, I've only met him briefly a few times, and he's lovely, but he's very kind of stoic and moody and kind of always looking down and stuff, and kind of sometimes gives that air that he doesn't sort of care about these things as much. But he was looking around the room and just watching everyone clap, and knowing he just opened this, like, Australian boy, he just opened this movie at the Venice Film Festival, and he started crying, and I was like, oh, it just melted my cold, dead heart.
I know. It's like when Brendan Fraser was crying for The Whale. It's just, I think when you, as an actor, seeing basically your peers applauding you, and in this case for that long, would be quite an amazing feeling.
Yeah.
But yeah, watching the Brendan Fraser tear up made me tear up. So Jacob Elordi, same thing. So I'm really excited about that movie. The other one that I'm super excited about is Begonia, which is the new Emma Stone movie, and she famously has shaved her head for this. This is a film by Yorgos Lanthimos, who did one of my favorite movies of all time, Poor Things. Absolutely love that movie. Emma Stone was also in that. But the big takeaway from that was talking about how she now believes in aliens.
Yes, and when I first saw that quote, I got very excited, because I thought like, oh, this is another kind of, I love when celebrities just unveil that they love weird things. Yeah. And I was like, is this like Kesha talking about believing in ghosts? But it's a bit different, because Kesha had a demon crawl up her leg and bite her. Whereas Emma Stone, when you watch the full clip, she's not saying like, I believe in aliens and they're here and they're walking amongst us. She was saying what I think most people believe, or at least what I believe, is like the universe is so vast and we're such a tiny little speck. Of course there's something else out there, but she doesn't think they're walking around with us, which is also what I think.
I completely agree. And I think that, but the way that it was clipped, it was like, Emma Stone believes in aliens.
I know, I love that. Well, because also she kind of does a little laugh and she's like, look, like she does know, I think that she knows that's the moment that's going to be clipped from the whole press conference.
She's like, how do you know I'm not an alien right now? And I love that.
She is like, her face is looking lovely. So she's looking very alien-like in a beautiful way.
Okay, so there was this guy on a yacht and then he brought his girlfriend. Sorry, that's my Uber Eats order. So I did this because while we were researching for today's app, I was like, I need groceries. I need to do my top-up shop without the shop, because the last thing I want to do is go home, pick up my 2 gremlins, take them to the supermarket, have them disrupt everybody, have everyone think that I'm a terrible mother. So I just thought this would be way easier.
No, this does sound easier. I'm going to do a top-up shop myself after this because you have inspired me.
Okay, we should probably get back to the show. Some great red carpet moments as well. One for me is, I don't know, did you see Rosie Huntington-Whiteley?
Yes.
Oh my God, that woman does not age. She was wearing this beautiful white gown with her stomach bared, and I was just like, you just can do absolutely no wrong.
Yeah, I think the fashion at Venice is always fun to look at because everyone arrives via boat. So you have that moment of them like descending from the boat and walking along those little platforms and stuff. So it's like just different to like a traditional red carpet. But yeah, overall, everyone was looking very sexy. I thought it was interesting how Suki Waterhouse was getting like absolutely trolled for her outfit. And I was like, leave that poor girl alone. She's just had a hernia because her pants were too tight. She said it caused a hernia. So she just recovered from that. Then she shows up in Venice and there's glittery gold sequined 2-set piece with like stockings, and I thought she looked gorgeous. I'm obsessed with her style. And everyone's like, oh, this is what happens when you put a foot wrong or you come to an event too overdressed, like because they're saying it's too much for a photo call. But I was like, the woman's in Venice and she dresses like that all the time. Just let her wear it.
And also Venice is like, there's just so many different events. There's the
how could you even pick her out of a lineup?
There's photo calls, there's press junkets, there's the red carpets, there's the opening. It's like, it's a lot. Can you imagine having to like prepare all of those outfits?
No,
I
would hate that.
I can't even prepare an outfit for 2 shows a week. But the other one that I did want to talk about is Julia Roberts.
Yes.
So this has caused a little bit of controversy. So her new film is called After the Hunt, and the reviews of the movie have been quite mixed because the tone is basically she plays a Yale professor who one of her students accuses another student of sexual assault. And the basic thing is Julia Roberts' character doesn't necessarily believe her. There's a little bit of sweeping under the rug and all of this. And the criticism is basically that this is setting back the Me Too movement. Julia Roberts' response was basically, this is the way, this is like an art piece. You can take it how you want. But I think that taking it that seriously, I understand why people do because it is a very sensitive time. It's a sensitive topic. But I do also think that it's a way of critically looking at a film. Like, you've got to look at it in a critical way.
Yeah, I thought her response was like quite, I mean, again, without having seen the movie, like I might have a really strong stance once I see it if I feel like it is pushing against the Me Too movement. But I thought it was like just really refreshing how she obviously hadn't put any caveats in place around like which questions she would and wouldn't answer. She was getting thrown on and all those questions were coming to her and she was the one who was jumping in to talk about it and sort of saying like, yeah, like this is an art piece. It's not meant to be a huge commentary on right or wrong. And I also just found it like just super refreshing, I guess, just to have her back in the mix as like because she is like those kind of old school movie stars that you don't make anymore. Like the photos of her getting off the boat, the photos of her going down the red carpet, coming into a press conference and being like the one who is kind of leading the room. There was even a moment in amongst all of those like tough questions about the subject matter where she just told all the interviewers to stop. And then her co-stars in the movie, Andrew Garfield and Io Debris, were sitting there kind of, I think, a little bit shell-shocked. Like maybe Io a little bit too because she's probably like, this is so intense. And she was like, so you guys are going to open the drinks in front of you, the cans. Let's do it all at one go so the sound doesn't get interrupted. Then we're going to answer your question. And just kind of was like stage managing it all. And then Andrew Garfield just like starts hysterically laughing. And he was like, this is so funny because this is how she was on set all the time. Like just telling Io and I what to do. And then she walked out of there and she saw Cate Blanchett across the room and the two of them started screaming and like jumping up and down and hugging. And I was like, even if you're like the most famous woman in the world, like you see your bestie across the room and you just lose your mind.
But it's also such a thing about her professionalism and how experienced she is. The fact that she knew, okay, we're not going to ruin sound. Like she just, I can so picture her being like that on set. There's lots more to come on the Venice Film Festival, lots of great moments. But yeah, some really good movies that I'm really, really excited to see.
So when I saw this story pop up over the weekend, I debated whether or not we would even talk about it in the Spill because it seems so silly and so just like not a proper news story, even though we do love those stories here at the Spill. But then all of my group chats filled with friends who don't work in entertainment and have nothing to do with like, you know, celebrities, pop culture, that sort of stuff, were dropping the link for this story and being like, oh my God, is this true? Is this real? I feel conflicted about it. And that is the fact that Sydney Sweeney is allegedly dating Scooter Braun.
Yeah. I have some feelings about this. Now, Scooter Braun is famously kind of got a bit of a bad reputation for being a bit of a douche. Yep. Probably most well known for taking Taylor Swift's entire catalogue, you know, paying her out. She finally got her catalogue back in May. But, you know, he doesn't have a great reputation. So he discovered Justin Bieber. You know, there's been all this stuff with Justin Bieber having to pay him back all this money. So the vibe I get from Scooter Braun is not like my favorite. Obviously, I don't know the guy, but just the stories that come out about him. If you're a Taylor stan, you will hate Scooter Braun. And seeing them potentially as a couple really gave me the ick.
Yeah, and that was the vibe of the many, many people who messaged me about this, saying like, oh my God, Sydney Sweeney, like I used to like her, but now like I thought she was a girl's girl, but she's obviously not. She's a bad feminist. All these things that I don't super agree with. I mean, the thing is like, again, most people know Scooter Braun from the whole Taylor Swift thing, but I don't know if like dating him is like meant to be a stab at Taylor Swift. But here's the thing. I don't think they're dating at all. I don't even think they've been in the same sort of like space together for months. If you look at the story, so it was first reported by The Star. At the time of recording, they've taken it down. It's still down, so you can't access it. So I'm just wondering if someone from Sydney's camp made a call. But what it is from the Bezos wedding a few months ago.
I know.
Yeah, such a long time ago. And it was someone who had taken a video of her and Scooter, but other people from the wedding walking to dinner. And they're just walking side by side and they're talking to each other, but they're also talking to the people around them. And so that video has like made its way online. The Star picked it up. They ran it with the headline, "Are Sydney and Scooter dating?" Every other outlet has picked it up and run it. And I don't know if anyone's sort of looking at the actual footage, which it just looks like if you're at a wedding, especially a wedding like that you would go into groups and go to dinner.
It's the same outfit she was wearing when it was the Tom Brady, and then there was thinking that, oh, Tom Brady and her are dating. So it's the exact same day and the same photos and pictures. And it's so interesting how, you know, once someone writes something and it's just this snowball effect and everybody picks it up. I don't know. I kind of agree with you. I feel like they probably aren't dating because, you know, Sydney's PR team are in overdrive at the moment. She's had a not so great couple of months and I feel like she probably wouldn't be making something like this public after the last few months. I mean, her PR team would probably be telling her, take a step back.
Yeah, well, again, they could be dating, but there's no videos or photos or anything of them together since the Bezos wedding, so they would be really keeping it under wraps. But also that, like, people thought she was dating Tom Brady, and then they thought she was dating Orlando Bloom from the same wedding. Yep. Remember that whole situation? Because Orlando Bloom came to Australia where Katy Perry was touring, and then they posted about their breakup, so people thought they'd had some sort of a conversation about making it public, and that she was performing, so then Orlando went to the Bezos wedding, and he was pictured with Sydney. But again, it was the same thing. It was a whole big group photo, but cropped in so it looked like the two of them were together. And then people were really angry at Sydney Sweeney then because they're like, oh my God, she's got her claws into Orlando Bloom the moment he breaks up with Katy Perry. I just think she's in that stage now because she broke up with her long-term fiance, Jonathan, a while ago. This is the first time we've known her at this level of fame being single. So now she's in that famous Hollywood single girl trap where anytime she like stands next to someone on a red carpet, walks out of a restaurant with them, anything like that, people assume they're dating.
Yeah, and this happens all the time with people who are freshly single. And I will say, again, I'm going to talk about Orlando Bloom's thighs in those images because he just wearing these tiny little shorts. And I kind of hoped that they were dating even though he'd just broken up with Katy Perry. But yeah, so Sydney Sweeney as well, because she's had so much backlash and she's quite a sexual being, people feel like they have a right to make these assumptions about her. I don't know if it's true that they are dating, which I don't really think it is.
I kind of wish they were. It'd be interesting for the rest of us.
It would be very interesting.
But I just don't, give some meaning to our cold, dead lives. But yeah, I just don't think they are. But I also think what's more interesting is that she would just, from what we know about her, she would just not care that the world is debating at the moment whether she's a good feminist, whether she's a good person, all these kinds of things. Like it's just kind of like every week with her is a new headline, some more serious than others. Last week it was that her new movie tanked at the box office, Americana. And then there's obviously a bit more to that backstory of that it was a smaller film. It wasn't meant to be a blockbuster. A lot of movies are doing badly, all these things. But I just think she's become sort of that thing once you attach her name to it, it's going to like make headlines.
The other thing, I was looking through some Reddit comments just to kind of see what the general response was to this. And it basically was like, oh my God, Scooter Braun is the worst person ever. I hate him. She's the worst person ever. I hate her. And also, the age gap, which we've talked a lot about age gap relationships here. But yeah, he's 44. She's 27. He's got 3 kids with his ex-wife. But yeah, it just doesn't seem right.
I love how the Hollywood age gaps have desensitized me so much. It's like I saw their age gap and I was like, that seems fine.
I agree. I'm so desensitized to it now.
I was like, call me when she's 20 and he's 80 and then we'll have a conversation. But that whole thing is so messed up. It like doesn't even feel like a blip.
Okay, so our take is they are not dating, maybe.
Yes, and I look forward to next time Sydney Sweeney walks alongside a man, her name being betrothed to his. What a fun time to be single.
So Sabrina Carpenter has released her 7th studio album, Man's Best Friend, with the cover that was very, very controversial. And we have our pop culture and social media editor, Tina Burke, here. Hi, Tina.
Hi, I'm excited.
Okay, so I listened to the whole album cover to cover. I absolutely loved it. It was sweet and quirky, and I'm now even more obsessed with Sabrina Carpenter than I already was. But there's still people are still obsessed about this bloody cover. And then now she's just released the new music video for Tears, which is kind of like the second hit song from the album. And again, people are talking about it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the music video had been teased with like this really old school Hollywood shot of her in the grass. Like she looks up and it's just got that really like glowy soft feature. And people always say that's what happens when you get like a Disney Channel kid in the music industry.
Yes.
Like they produce these really cinematic music videos, which she's known for. But she'd teased it. There was a little teardrop coming down from the A in the teaser, which maybe should have told us this song was not about crying. This song was about something a bit spicier. But yeah, she released the music video and it's just this like full glitter dance number, drag queens, Coleman Domingo's in there. There's murder, of course there is. There's even a joke about murder in the music video, but it's a lot. It's very showy and very grabby.
And it's got like that thing that she's done before of like nods to very classic movies. I feel like I never thought I had anything in common with Sabrina Carpenter because she's a short, blonde, flirty pop star. And as much as I love her music, I never thought we'd be the kind of people to hang. But the more I watch her music videos, and really they're the music videos that excite me at the moment, I feel like she goes old school, the way that people used to do when that was their own, before social, when that was their only way to sell a song. She goes old school with the production. But she references the greatest movies.
Oh, yeah.
Remember when she did Heathers and Death Becomes Her, one of my fave movies, and this one's got Rocky Horror Picture Show elements to it, when she's like the car's broken down and she's got the Janet like costume on and she's crawling towards the old house and like peeks in and sees the leg with the fishnets. It's just like this little nod to movie fans.
And Tina, Rocky Horror Picture Show.
I've never seen it.
That is crazy to me,
I'm
by
so
the
sorry.
way.
I'm so sorry.
It's so upsetting.
I know the references.
Do you know the
slightly?
songs?
I think so.
I think
Do you want to give me a little razzle dazzle here on the podcast? Hit us with it.
Transvestite. No.
Oh my God.
Not that one.
Beautiful. 10 out of 10. Get her a Grammy.
Like, take a step to the right.
Yes. Yeah. I know the
Put
classics.
your hands on your hip.
And everyone used to do that at like kids' discos. You'd be in the RSL doing the moves.
Which is wild when you watch the movie that we were all doing that when we were kids. But no, you should watch it because you like whimsy.
I do.
And you like sexy movies. You like hot people. This movie
I think
is
it's
all
part
of
of
those
the
things.
weird little gap in my life that my mum just forgot about maybe 10 to 15 very culturally relevant
Well,
films
I
and never
think-
showed me them. And then I grew up and I was like, it's too late for me. me. I'm too far gone.
Yeah, I mean, look, no, you're not too far gone.
Yeah.
We're going to get you help. You recently watched The Princess Bride for the first time, so now you're on the right trajectory. I'm just coming in and fixing the way your mother didn't parent you properly by not showing you these movies.
I'm going to make sure Anne listens to this podcast.
Please do. No, don't. I'm scared of her. And then you need to watch Rocky Horror Picture Show.
I will.
Because it's like permeated culture. I love that this is the magic of Sabrina Carpenter.
Yes.
Now we're talking about a classic movie because she's brought it to the forefront.
It is her magic though, because so many people had never seen Death Becomes Her. And then when
Which
she did,
again blows my mind.
That's crazy.
But she brought it up with like, you know, the Taste music video, all these people who'd never heard of it. Suddenly they're like, let's get in there. Let's watch this classic. So that's her power. Sabrina, I will go home and I will watch, I want to say Rocky Horror Picture Show is the correct order of those words.
Yes, not Little Shop of Horrors.
But
I think this kind of shows the intelligence and the wit behind her because, you know, so many people look at her as this like petite little dumb blonde, like she's got nothing to add, you know, but Rolling Stone gave this album 4 out of 5.
Yeah.
And I think the album itself is like it's very funny when you listen to the lyrics and it's cheeky and quirky and she's leaning into this whole thing about the way that men treat her and I love it.
Yeah. And I think you're right. Like she kind of, and I mean, she collabed with Dolly Parton, but she sort of plays into that Dolly Parton big blonde and beautiful, I'm just a dumb girl thing sometimes, but obviously in a very sarcastic, jokey way. So then bringing this music video to life where she once again kills a man and then in the video he comes to the door and he's still alive and she's like, wait, I have to kill someone every video and she stabs him with her stiletto. Like
so good.
She's playing into this thing, but she's doing it perfectly. And then I think, you know, at this moment in time in the US, the way that things are going, to have some really prominent drag queens featuring in your music video also shows where she's aligning and what she's tapped into like in the culture as well. So it was really great to see Coleman Domingo like front and center in this video, and then he's sharing the clips everywhere and he's sharing like Protect the Dolls. I just think that was really beautiful.
Yeah, that's a really beautiful layer to it. And again, like I think a lot of people think that Sabrina Carpenter at the moment is just there for kind of shock value from some of the things that like there was a whole uproar when she was touring that she would do like a different sex position every part of the concert, and then mums were getting really upset because they're like, I brought my 5-year-old to see her, and it's like, well, maybe 5-year-old should be there.
Yeah, maybe don't.
And it maybe if she's allowed to be there, just let her see it. You know what I mean? I don't think it's on Sabrina. It's like, as Sabrina said at the time, she's like, it's not on me to parent your kids. Yeah. And then there was a whole uproar over this album, and now that it's been released, people are sort of asking her what she thinks of the uproar, and she's saying like, well, it's not for the pearl clutchers, but even the pearl clutchers might find something to like about it.
Yeah. What was the guy? She was like, I don't care what Toby from Arkansas thinks.
Yeah.
Was it Toby?
Yes. And Toby in Arkansas was like, hey. He's like,
I love this album. But it's so true. It's very Taylor Swift going the Chads and Brads from the NFL. Like to be like, well, I actually don't care about those men. And in her interview with Gayle King, she was like, are you afraid that, you know, again, very Taylor Swift treatment to be like, are you worried that men won't want to date you? They'll hear this album. And she was like, I'm not afraid of men.
Yeah, I love it. She's like, I'm not afraid of men. And then she's like, I mean, sometimes I'm afraid of men. And obviously she's talking about the way any woman is around men because they can be terrifying. Yeah. But she's not afraid of hurting their feelings.
Or of them not liking her. Yeah. Or of them thinking, again, a lot of the uproar was from men to this album cover. Like, again, obviously there were a lot of women who were upset too. And I think it was a very hot debate. And there were some good points made by many people. But to her point, like, she's making this for herself. She's put it out there. She likes it. Her family likes it. She's addressed that point. People were like, where are her parents? And she's like, they saw it and they loved it. They
also,
don't
she's
care.
like a 25-year-old woman.
And what did you say? 7th studio album?
Yeah,
this is not a child.
Album. She only released her previous album last year. So she's like smashing this out. But I just think also in the Gayle King interview on the CBS Morning Show, she was just talking about like, I don't mind that people view me in this certain way. And it just made me see her in this I just think she's a very intelligent woman, and I think she's lent into it. And I actually think the discourse around the album cover makes more sense when you listen to the music on the actual album. Yeah. Because the whole thing is like teasing that moment. Like one of my favorites is the Never Getting Laid song.
Yeah.
So one of the lines in it is just like, I just hope you get agoraphobia someday. I wish you a lifetime of happiness and forever never getting laid, which I'm like, that is just like hilarious.
Yes.
But it's this like ballad. So she's kind of doing this like thing and it's just witty and cute and fun. And it makes sense as to why she would do an album cover like that.
Yeah. And again, adult woman in a consensual sexual position on her own album cover. Like, I don't think for me, and I wrote an article about it at the time, she's not my enemy in feminism for that album cover.
No, that's Sydney Sweeney, as previously discussed. I'm joking. No, but okay, on the album cover, I don't know if I'm the only one who has this take, but there was obviously so much conversation around that album cover because it was her on her hands and knees and her glorious blonde hair extensions were all over the place. And there's this guy standing next to her who's like holding her up by the hair. And as you're saying, some people were really upset about that. And she was kind of alluding the whole time. She's like, wait to listen to the album. It'll make sense. Just wait. And it does to an extent, but I just feel like she promised us this big kind of bombshell kind of controversy or something. And then when I listen to the album, I'm like, oh, this is a nice album and I like it and I'll play it a lot. But I feel like the bigger moment in this release was the album cover, and then the actual album didn't live up to the controversy we were promised.
I did expect maybe a song that was a bit more addressing kind of what people thought of the cover, especially with the title, right? Man's Best Friend, the joke about it being like men treat women like dogs, the fact that she's been carrying dogs around everywhere with her. You would think that given that she said that, she was like, just wait, there might have been a song that was a bit more like feminist or like a song that was addressing that concept at least.
Or a stunt or something.
Or something stunty. People thought that you might zoom out the album picture and it was one of her girlfriends holding her hair or something.
Or that it was going to be her. That's what I wanted. And I feel like we gave her, and even if that wasn't the original idea, I said at the time, Sydney Sweeney, like, even if you haven't done this, get on it and do it now, because that would be so good if it zoomed out and it was her pulling her own hair. And so we were all looking for this big reveal and hidden meaning. And then maybe that's a lesson in itself. We're all looking for this big hidden meaning. And she's like, no, it's just me on the floor getting my hair pulled. And that's it. And there's no big reveal. There's no bigger meaning.
Okay, so you guys wanted more from like another little controversial thing. See, I was so happy with it. Like I listened to it. I listened to the interview and I was like, yes, this all makes sense now. Like I wasn't looking for another controversial moment from the album.
I think had she not built it up and said that, then probably wouldn't have either. And I did listen and I was like, I'm having a fun time.
Yeah, I'm having a fun time, but I just feel like it was kind of like a dropped story plot in a movie where you're just like, oh, hey, like I liked the ending, but like what was that thing at the beginning that we were promised kind of vibe. But I guess like she does like do these little hints of controversy that I think sometimes she thinks they're going to be controversial and sometimes she doesn't, whether it's like her performance or what she wears or things she says, but then she wants to keep it like very reserved when she's doing the media rounds. Like in that Gayle King interview, first of all, when Gayle says, oh, Barry Keoghan, you've referenced him. And I had this horrible thought of, have I been saying that man's name? That little tiny
Irish man.
Hot gremlin man. Have I been saying his name wrong? But it was Gayle King who was wrong.
Yes.
And then,
which is actually really just nice because sometimes I say things wrong and if Gayle King can mess it up, then, you know.
Oh, yeah. Sometimes no judgment. I've said more wrong things today than that woman said in her whole life, so it's fine. But you can just see Sabrina's face in that interview. She's like nodding and she's smiling and her face just like closes off and goes blank when that gets mentioned because she's like, I'll never say who it's about and I'll never say who I'm dating. I'll never say this and that. It's up to you to work it out. So that's when I'm like, if she's saying that, is there more that we just haven't worked out yet?
Well, yeah, there's a really fantastic line or like a few lines in Go-Go Juice, which is such a fun song. Just Go-Go Juice, come on now. We all love a drink. But she kind of lists her exes, but she lists them as different names. So she says John for Shawn Mendes. She says Larry for Barry Keoghan. And then she says rhymes with villain for Dylan O'Brien. And like that's just such a fun way because she knows, you know, everyone's already guessing or they've figured out who's who. All of her romances have been papped and publicized and all of that. So she knows everyone knows who she's dated. So she's kind of just like, well, fine, I'll have fun with it.
I also love how she's like, Gayle King asked her, you know, do these guys mind? And she's like, they kind of like it. It's kind of fun for them.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, that was so the opposite to what Taylor Swift's treatment was. Every time she broke up with someone, it was like, leave me alone. I'm allowed to write a song. Whereas now Sabrina's like, no, I love it. They love it. They think it's fun.
It'd be worse really if you were the guy left off the album. Like, no one wants to be Joe Alwyn. Like, no one wants to. R.I.P. that man. He's walking around with his new girlfriend. He's fine. But, you know, he was with Taylor Swift for 6 years and barely got a mention on her album, whereas Maddie Healy, after 6 weeks, was like in the weeds of it. So, you don't want to be the man who's not mentioned. But
you've made so little of an impact on a pop star who is synonymous with making songs about their exes that you don't get a mention.
Do we know what the singles are going to be next or what else is coming from this? We've had one music video.
We have. And a lot of people think, so there was a picture that was teased maybe 2 weeks ago now, and it's like a guy on a stool, his back's to the camera and she's caressing his hair, and people have lined up the curls on his head to Pedro Pascal.
What? That's so good. I love the amount of time people have.
Yeah.
That is the perfect use of your time,
Perfect
guys.
use of free will. And obviously, like, they did that skit together on SNL, so they've met before and have a bond, and like people think he might be the next star of the music video.
That would be so great.
I am kind of thinking it could be House Tour or possibly Go-Go Juice.
Oh, great.
My favorite thing about House Tour, if you haven't listened yet, you should. It's a like jokey song about inviting a man back to your place, and like she's like, no, I'll give you the house tour, but the joke is like, I'll show you the first, second, third floor, and I'm like, in this economy,
yeah,
like,
and
the hell,
and come upstairs.
Ooh, it's saucy.
It's very, very saucy.
It is, and she jokes about having Chips Ahoy in the cupboard, which is like a type of cookie, and I was like, Sabrina, I'm scandalized, not the cookies. That's such a like Sierra reference.
You'd love. It's cheeky and
it's cheeky.
funny.
It's very
so
funny.
Cheeky.
I think part of the fun of, say, not to keep comparing her to Taylor, but she is a Tay daughter in a way.
I mean, she's on Taylor's
And they
new
love
album.
that-
But they love
like,
that
that's
thing.
fine.
But where Taylor's is often like, what's the heartbreak? What's the poetry? Like, you know, Sabrina's is, what's this silly innuendo? So
Yeah.
you have a good time listening.
No, we're having a great time. Well, I hope Pedro Pascal pops up. I know people are saying he's overexposed at the moment, but I think he should just, do
I think
one
this
last
is the perfect extra exposure.
I'd love him to expose himself in this way. That's all I'll say on that.
She was very tight-lipped about the Taylor Swift collab, though, so we're not going to hear anything else about that.
But the VMAs are next week, and I'm on the lookout. We'll obviously hopefully get a Sabrina performance of Tears at the VMAs. If you remember last year, she did like a fantastic mashup of all her short and sweet songs. That was really great. She's such a good live performer. So I'm thinking we'll get a Tears, maybe the tease of like a second single. We'll know which one's coming. But then, hopefully a Taylor appearance too, and we'll see them together.
Love that.
Okay, well, TV, thank you so much for joining us and giving us a little bit of your take on the new album. Let us know what you guys think, because I feel like there's even more goss in the album.
Yeah, if you want to bop but also maybe feel sad, I recommend you listen to Nobody's Son.
Yeah, I always want to bop and feel sad.
I was like really jiving along doing my work on Friday listening, and then I was like, wait, no, this is depressing and about
am I sobbing?
I was like, wait, is this about me being single and sad? Oh, well, party on. Have a listen, guys. It's a good time.